So here we go, introducing to our first speaker, Max, for this event today called InVisible with Boost. So over to you, Max.
So let me begin. So yeah, thanks, Joe. Myself, Max here. My company is called Choicia. We are a Singaporean-based company. Office is actually located in Scotts Road, Shaw Centre. So I myself is an electronic and electrical engineer by training. So I'm a TUSUD certified EMS surveyor for health, safety, for workplace, homes, and as well as products. Yeah. So this is my slides here. The mission and vision that what we try to aim for is to create a safer wireless world for us to live, work, and play in. Yeah. And of course, we aspire to always to produce, introduce or create innovative EMF producing products for all. That is what we aspire to be. Yeah. So these are just a little bit about some corporate clients here that, over the years, we have some of the corporate clients here, and many of you probably have heard them. And of course, we are the members of some international organization as well. I listed over here. And we have hosted many talks over the years, locally as well as overseas. So these are just some showcase of some companies that we did the talk. So as precisely what we are doing, our main business is to provide homes and organizations on EMF radiation consultation services and on-site assessment within Singapore and also in the ASEAN region. We are quite active then prior to COVID, of course. Our expertise lies in terms of wireless and electrical radiation mitigation techniques, mainly for the health protection side of things. Just now you saw that there's also part of the client that is more of the corporate clients. Those are not as per se so much onto the health aspect, but they are very much want to look into the EMF interference aspect of it. They are having our service to help them to shield against some of the external influence, because we know that EMF or radio frequency, some of these things can actually interfere with their work, with their performance, with their even like a crosstalk with their Wi-Fi's, or they need certain shooting, things that they need to, to bring it up for their work. We offer advanced computer networking. For example, we offer services to help people to, do up we call it the LAN cable option to their house, the Ethernet options. We have EMF protector shielding kind of solutions from paint, special paint, special fabrics to special kind of film for your windows, and we also right now moving into some natural EMF focused health supplement as well. So these are the few areas that we are into right now. So you can see that here some of the feature product here. Those three that I mentioned here are all the shielding products. Of course, we also deal with some of the detectors. Typically the meters that you use to detect the EMF radiations. Yeah. So what I have here, you can see there probably there are some detectors here that we are selling. Why is of interest to bring up this meter topic is because there are a lot of actually meters out there online that you can actually source it out or look it up yourself. But a lot of time, many times some of these meters are not really very suitable for the application, or sometimes people buy the wrong meter to do the wrong measurement. So we have this kind of assistance to actually help our client to actually offer them a better kind of a meter for them to do the assessment. So of course there are also supplements that we are doing right now. So I will start off to briefly talk about what is actually EMF, electromagnetic field, or radiation. So if you look at this chart on the right hand side, it consists of a broad spectrum of we call it wave. Yeah, it's actually radiant kind of energy consisting of electromagnetic wave. So you can see that on the right hand side, we call it the ionizing radiation here. So this ionizing radiation or wave consists of nuclear radiation, X-ray, or even sunlight, the ultraviolet. So these are, we call it ionizing radiation to some extent because they have enough energy actually to break your DNA bond and create some problem to the health. And this part is without a doubt that in the scientific world there's no argument or controversial with regards to the health aspect. But on the left hand side, on the red part of it, you can see that here it's called the non-ionizing radiation. So this part of the spectrum consists of things like your microwave, which is the same frequency spectrum that you use to operate your mobile phone, your wireless devices. You have your TV, you have your things like even like your electrical, you call it extremely low frequency. It's mainly for the overhead lines, the power lines, all those radiation. So this group of EMF, we call it non-ionizing. So this is on the non-ionizing part. Many of these science will say that because they do not have enough energy to break your DNA bond, so it is perceived as not danger to human. They based on the thermal effect, to say that as long as it doesn't heat up your cell, it is safe. But right now, over this many years of scientific evidence, later I'll show you that now we know that actually the impact of EMF on human span across the whole entire EMF spectrum, not only the ionizing part, but also the non-ionizing part as well. So we know that, for example, it is actually, as far as human is concerned, we are also called electromagnetic being, because from our brain, our EEG, to our heart, the ECG, our nerves, even the food that we eat, all this consists of a lot of these charges and also electrical pulses and electric. So for us humans is actually by itself electromagnetic being. So where Choysia or our company operate in is we operate in a non-ionizing space. We are not operating in the nuclear side of things, mainly on the non-ionizing. So this is just a very quick video to show you.
Not only are there visible light waves from the TV striking your eyes, but also radio waves transmitting from a nearby station, and microwaves carrying cell phone calls and text messages, and waves from your neighbor's Wi-Fi, and GPS units in the cars driving by. There is a chaos of waves from all across the spectrum passing through your room right now. Do you sit watching? So
this short animation shows you that, as we know, there are all those invisible waves around us. So right now, with a lot of people are actually working from home. So sometimes, if, for example, you might be situated at a place that you have very close to a cell phone tower, or you're actually sitting very close to your routers and for hours and hours. So naturally you will have a certain kind of experience. So this is something that to be taken note of.
Do you sit?
So when it comes to wireless radiation, broadly speaking, we want to bring into two parts. If you see this chart here, you bring into internal radiation sources as well as external radiation sources. So internal, obviously, is all those things that we are very familiar with, our mobile phone, our wireless gadgets, even for a microwave oven that you're using. It's called a microwave oven because they are using a microwave frequency, but much more higher intensity. That's why it's able to cook your food. And of course, external is all those things that we talk about. Influence. Those are the radiation that's coming into your home. It can be from a cell phone tower that looks like this, or sometimes it looks like this on top of buildings. So here I particularly highlighted how it looks like for the 5G in Singapore. It's already starting to deploy in many parts of Singapore. So 5G, it looks very boxy type of antennas, just for those who are interested. And of course, you can see here, I also mentioned here there's a smart meter. Here, it also emits RF radio frequency. In Singapore, they don't call it smart meter, they call it AMI meter, advanced metering infrastructure. Very complicated name, but essentially it's a smart meter. And also we have, in other countries, you have this overhead line that people staying very close to overhead line also tend to be exposed to a lot of EMF. So we have to be take note that actually there are numerous sources that actually come to play in our surrounding. Obviously, if you are having a lot of the more and more of these gadgets that you put in your house here, obviously your internal exposure will rise. Similarly, if let's say they started to put many of these external cell phone tower near your house where you stay, obviously then you will get affected as well. So where we come in is we will help client to actually assess the level and also how to actually overcome this, so that the place that they stay can maintain at a low EMF level. So now a little bit of background, background about EMF. In fact, you see the heading here is called Guidelines on EMF. Why is it called guideline and it's not standard? In fact, globally speaking, there's no international standard with regards to EMF exposure, only guidelines. So guideline is compared to a standard, as what all we know, standard is very strong, it's enforceable. Guideline is something that they just give you an indication. So if you look at the right-hand side of the chart here, you'll be very surprised to see, for example, there's a standard called IGNIT. So this is where Singapore also follow this so-called this guideline. This guideline, if you look at this guideline, what is their guideline of level that they claim that it's safe? It is actually at 1,000 microwatt per cm square. So look at countries like India or China, they are 10 times or 100 times lower than this guideline. And also there are many countries in the Western world which can be as low as 0.001 microwatts per cm square. So what I'm trying to tell you is that from here you can see that there are huge a range of guidelines that different countries are adopting. And unfortunately Singapore is, and many countries, I would say that more than 80% of the countries in the world are actually adopting IGNIT, a very, very high guideline. So as far as this exposure is concerned, all this exposure, so-called the long-term exposure, you'll be very surprised when we say long-term exposure. Many of you will think that, oh, they have done a comprehensive kind of test, it's going to last you for, or the data should consist of years, months, or even 10 years or even more to qualify that it's safe. But in reality, the industry classified long-term exposure as only 30 minutes over long body. So their long-term is not longer than 30 minutes. Can you imagine there are many of this infrastructure that has been around, and those are not being tested for such a long period of time. This is based on mobile phone testing, 30 minutes. So there's no long-term exposure test. So now on the left-hand side, you can see that this is a statement from NEA Singapore, National Environmental Health Agency, Environmental Agency. They also state that they are aware that this IR, International Agency for Research on Cancer, is a body that is under World Health Organization, classified radio frequency or ERF magnetic fields as class 2B carcinogen, possibly human carcinogen. So they even recognize that. And so what is class 2B? Class 2B is the same category as a pesticide DDT, which has been banned in many countries around the world, car exhaust, lead, and chloroform. So when I tell you that all these form of things here is considered as a class 2B, we'll be surprised that radio frequency and ERF or this extremely low level frequency magnetic fields are classified as the same category. And probably you will ask me, if there's the case, how come we are not being notified by the authorities? The reason is very simple. Because as long as it's being classified as class 2B, there is no need for them to actually alert the public on that, unless it's being reclassified to class 2A or even class 1, a probable or even a definite cancer-causing agent. So that's the reason why you don't really heard this kind of information from them. So now quickly move over to some stuff here. Like for example, some of the insurance companies, these are very big international reinsurance company, Lloyd's of London, also Swiss Re. They exclude any coverage on RF and EMF claims. So this is actually very significant because a lot of us, we are not aware of this, but for this reinsurance company, that they actually are insuring against all those bigger companies. So they are telling all these big companies, so if we are not, sorry, if you want us to protect against future claim of EMF, health or damages, sorry, we are not doing this kind of insurance claim. So you have to be aware that all this are being excluded by this big insurance company for EMF claims. So what is actually happening in other part of the world? You can see the FFCC here, EHT, Environmental Health Trust, is an American organization that actually also have some legal suit against FCC. This is actually, this is an American authority, Federal Communication Commission. They are the one that regulates the emission levels, the communication aspect. Equivalent will be Singapore IMDA. So they sue them against their negligence for setting the levels of the EMF levels, too low, as far as 25-year-old exposure guideline that's been set in a very unsafe level. So this is what's happening. As far as EMF and EMF is concerned, it's not only on the legal front. You can see that there are many international medical conferences pertaining to EMF health has been organized over the years throughout the world. So this is not something like a pseudoscience or something that people say that it is not true. There are many medical conferences happening around the world, and many of them are even specifically designed or cater for medical professionals to educate them, because many medical professionals are not being made known or are not aware of this part of the thing, and they are educating the medical professional on how to diagnose EMF kind of symptoms there. So I'll play here a very short video on how you can see that the radiation will affect the human.
Here is what it looks like after a period of 6 minutes. That's really not as bad as it might look, because you see the red area only gets partway through the eye of the adult, right? The one that we're really concerned about is this one with the young child. And this is a 3-year-old brain that we modeled. And you see that by the end of that 6-minute call, the peak radiation, yellow and red, is getting all the way into almost both eyes. And this is a modeled microwave radiation dose of a 6-year-old with greater levels to the frontal and temporal lobes, eyes and cheek. And watch this here. Now, yellow, white, and red are the hottest, all right? And if you look carefully, you will see it's going into the eye, the nose. Do it again, just so you'll get to see it. And partly into the brainstem. Now, that's just showing you that there's going to be some exposure into that area. And that has to do with exposure to the reproductive organs. We call them the gonads. I think you say the testicles, and bone marrow. And look here at the radiation as it gets into the groin area. And that's just from having a mobile phone modeled into the pocket. And this, again, is based on normalized SAR with a dipole antenna. Here is what it looked.
So here's another quick one with the tablets.
Now this is a simulation of the Wi-Fi electrical field in a 6-year-old child facing a tablet. We have the tablet at 150 millimeters from the head, which is a little less than 6 inches. We can also take a closer look at the Wi-Fi field in the brain by using different scales. We use anatomically based models of people. This means that we simulate the absorption of different parts in the body, such as the skull, regions of the brain, the bones, eyes, and dozens of other tissues. These animations are slowed down by about 5 billion times. Most people are not aware that the waves of the Wi-Fi electrical fields oscillated 2 billion times a second through our bodies. Wireless devices emit microwaves, and these images show the intensity of the fields absorbed into the human body.
Okay, so here again, you can see that, just some, you see that for the skull, for different, like a 5-year-old, 10-year-old compared to adults, you can see that the levels of penetration of the microwaves is at different depth. It's also mainly due to the thickness of the skull. Here you can see that for a child, it's only 0.5 mm. For adults, are much thicker. So be mindful that the penetration, microwave radiation penetration, that is one of the reasons why it goes so deep into a child's head. For children's bones marrow, it can absorb actually 10 times more microwave radiation than adults. And typically for a 5-year-old, they are absorbing 60% more microwave radiation compared to the adults. So these are just some figures. So I'll just, maybe there's a 3-minute here. I think this is important. This is a 3-minute videos. Please take a look. It is very informative.
We are made of atoms, and we react to the electromagnetic field.
takes roughly 15 to 20 years for tumors to develop. Cell phones are shortening that to 10 years.
You cannot reverse it, you cannot heal it, and brain tumors are very difficult to treat. So we need to look at prevention, and prevention is not to be exposed.
I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and they found 5 tumors pretty much in the footprint of where the phone used to sit.
We know for sure that there is a direct link between cell phones and breast cancer. So the reality is all these young girls who are sticking the cell phone in their bra are doing it without any safety information whatsoever.
Every cell of the fetus is getting information from the environment, from the mother.
And it's not just their fetus that is super vulnerable. A pregnant woman is more vulnerable than another woman because your immune system is suppressed while you're pregnant.
Autism develops due to changes and due to influences in what's called the perinatal period.
We see de novo mutations, which is mutations that the babies have that the parents don't have. And that can be caused from genetic damage.
What we are witnessing is a real epidemiological change.
The classroom context just magnifies any potentially harmful effects that are introduced by this new technology.
We focus on the router that is on the ceiling, where we're forgetting to think about all of these 25 additive energy producers in the room. Far exceeds the amount of energy being produced by that single wireless router that's on the ceiling.
We've got an analogy of a classroom being the inside of a microwave oven.
I would predict that the cancer you're going to see elevated in children.
Spraying the DDT in class for children to ingest lead, and yet we're talking about 2B carcinogens.
Set a threshold of acceptable exposure at 10,000 times lower than the current FCC standards.
25 years ago, when the FCC standards were adopted for thermal effects, we didn't have all of these wireless devices.
I look at the World Health Organization, I look at my government and the education authorities and the groups like the Department of Health.
The wireless industry spends $100 million a year lobbying the Congress. They have very good access to the FCC, so it's really hard to go up against economic and political power of this industry, even when you have the facts on your side.
It's very hard to find truly unpolluted advice.
I think zapped is a great word to describe what happens to the human body. You know, you may not hear it, feel it, smell it overtly, but your body does.
Okay, here are just some possible health risks here, from neurologic, reproductive, to your blood, your immunity. Of course, just now we mentioned about cancer causing, and also there's others here. No, in the videos you can see that, you know, sometimes they say that your body cannot feel it, but there are a group of our people we call electro hypersensitivity people. This group of people actually can feel it. Yeah? They can actually, when they are very exposed to radiation, microwave radiation or wireless radiation, or even magnetic field or even electric field, they actually can feel it. They can have headaches, burning sensations, you know. So there are a group of people among us, typically about 3 to 5% for those very severely impacted. For the mild one, probably they typically will have, you know, things like even having problem, insomnia, sleeps. So we also be mindful that there are a group of people that actually can feel this effect of EMF, but of course we are talking about the minority of us. I will not go through the details of the type of the different things over here. Yeah, just one key thing that I want to highlight here is that, you know, these are also similar, all the lists of all these symptoms, you know, that you can find. I just want to highlight here that, you know, even back in 1972, a declassified US Naval Medical Research Institute already found that these are all a lot of human health issue pertaining to wireless radiation or electrical radiation or even ERF radiation kind of exposure can lead to many health effects. So back in 1972, back then, yeah. So for those who actually are very into facts, science, you know, where are all the evidence? I have listed here a lot of links here. You can see many of them are being published by very well world-renowned medical publication. Lancet, I think everybody knows it. PubMed is a very, very famous where a lot of medical professionals will go there and do the research. Elsevier, yeah, is another one. So here, in fact, there are thousands of literary studies pointing to different health effects. So for those people that want to know or want to have very solid proof of what are we talking about, you can actually go to this link and you can just download, EMF health effect. You can see that there are literally thousands of them, and many of them are peer reviewed. Yeah. So here quickly again, I would say in a global medical organization, you can see that places like Europe, Council of Europe, we have Swiss Physician Association of Medicals of Doctors of Environmental Protection, American Academy of Pediatrics, or American Academy of Environmental Medicine. This organization all recommends the reduced exposure of radio frequency. So so you can see that they also tell people that there are certain risks that people have to be aware of. So again, here you can see on the left-hand side, the policy, what are the different policy that has been rolled out across the world. For example, reducing, for example, here you can see ban on mobile phone ads on children. For example, France and Belgium and French, these are French, Polynesia and Russia. They ban phone ads to children. Yeah, for example, Wi-Fi off, or in elementary school, Israel, Cyprus, and of course there are many countries around the world are growing to practice that as well. Wi-Fi ban in nursery and kindergartens. So these are what different countries has also tried to follow. Yeah, like for example, they even have a publicly available measurement of all cell phone tower radiation level in some of these countries. So these are some of the things that in different countries they have a policy that they adhere to with regards to reduction of EMF. Okay, quickly just to show you that how mobile phone tower looks like. It looks like this because why I want to particularly highlight this is that I hear many times that some of my clients told me that those are speakers. They thought that these are all those emergency evacuation, kind of siren. These are not. These are all cell phone towers. Yeah, all your 3G, 4G, or even 5G. Yeah, so these are the one that it looks like a tree, but it's actually a cell phone tower. So this is where my office, near my office, is a car park. They hide there. This inside the building. So even here is like HDB. You put it very close to the water tank or some of the structure over there. You can't really see it very well. So you have it on the roadside, on the lamppost. They even put it where you are walking. So if you don't look at it, where is the cell phone tower? This is the one. You can see this is the antenna. They put a little bit structure. In fact, they should actually cordon even a wider kind of things to warn people. Yeah. So these pictures are all in Singapore. So here you can see that if you do a measurement of the radiation here in a house where you can see that they are extremely low in terms of EMF exposure. There's no external, and in this particular house, they take care of their wireless radiation exposure. This particular house that I went to, you open out the window, they are facing a cell phone tower. You can see that the peak level is already more than 6 volts per meter, or more than 100 microwatts per meter square, comparing to this particular home. So you can see that sometimes when we do the assessment, sometimes we will be very surprised to find out a lot of things. This is just some videos to show. Let me just see on the effectiveness of this particular house. Is actually in Penang. It's one of my clients. You can see that here actually the building is facing a cell phone tower, which are highlighted in circle here. So the moment actually he opened he has actually protected his whole house with shielding paint, fabrics, as well as a special film here. So the moment you can see that when he draw the curtain, it started to go up a little bit. Yeah. So the big part will be when they open up the window, you can see that it bumps up to more than 6 volts or more than 100 microwatts per meter square. So without a meter, you have no idea what you're being exposed to. And a good level we are talking about peak is less than 100 or even 10. Yeah. So now I think he's doing a little bit of a reversing here. I'll just forward a little bit here. Yeah, I'll just do the end result here. So you can see that after all has been closed, the fabric and all this is dropped out to about the average about less than 10. The peak is about probably close to 100-ish kind of level. So this is what shielding can have. So I think this is my last two slides here. So traditionally, we know that water is important, food, air, we breathe, the environmental on a chemical toxin, these are all very important things. So right now, what is actually new here is actually EMF. Yeah. So this is something that's very new. And of course, if you don't actually take note of that, in fact, it can actually interfere with all of those things. Yeah. You can have a good medical doctor, you can do exercise regularly, but you don't take care of EMF, it can affect you. So my message is to be aware, detect, and actually protect yourself. So this is my last slide here. This is my contact over here, my name's, and then for this particular talk, actually, we have a promotion here. Up to valid to the end of December. There's a 25% off on EMF assessment for those who are interested. So this is the promo code. So there are a few links here which will be quite interesting for those people that want to know where the 5G tower is. You can actually click on this particular link, and you can choose your different operator, StarHub or whatever Singtel. You can see that where you can zoom in, into this map to see the location itself. And in my company website, we also have a tool called Cell Mapper. You can also do the same. So this tooling will help you to see where are the sort of the cell phone towers located near you. Yeah. With that itself, thank you for your time. Yeah, I pass back to Joe.
Okay. Yeah, thanks Max for all the very informative sharing. So right now, gonna pass the time over to our another associate, Nicolas, who he's actually a health coach and also a chef at the same time. So he's really deeply aware of the value of nutrition, and he himself is actually a sports enthusiast. Did a lot of triathlons. Yeah, so we have quite a lot of common interests actually. So pass the time now to Nick to introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you. Thanks, Joe, and thanks, Max, as well, because it was very interesting and a bit scary also to see all of this. And recently, I just mentioned also yesterday, I heard that the Facebook, I don't know, I think you see this everywhere, that they're gonna put this 3D to all this our kids, and it will become worse. So I'm not 100% for it, but I mean, we have to go with a modern life, and we have to live with it, and it's no choice. So yeah, I will be talking about nutrition. I will be talking about food a little bit because it's my expertise. Like Joe say, I'm a chef. I've been a chef for more than 20 years, and then I'm recently more into health and wellness, coaching as well, coaching athletes. So really specialize in athlete field, and also I have some clients also who have some degenerative disease, where I try to help them to be more active also in a real life and change their lifestyle. So that's why I recently, about 3 years ago, invested in a small device, which is what we call the Epigenetics, epigenetic test. So I will share it to you a little bit about that. So you can see the small device on the right is called Soy Grown Veggies. It's from the company which is based in Germany, and then it's very useful because it's portable. And as you can see, usually I'm going to people's houses, and I just test by taking 4 strains of air, and I just analyze it. I have to take it fresh. So I take it myself, and I put in this small device, and which actually analyze a lot of things and give you a lot of result actually about your whole body. So it's about 37 pages. And what we will be seeing after this is more about the EMF and ELF. So all about if you have been too much in front of TV radiation or like Wi-Fi connection. So the test result can inform you all this type of results. So the limit age for this test is actually from 7 years old, because below 7 years old, actually, when I take the test, it will not be so accurate, because as a kid, when you grow up, the brain is actually not completely completely big enough. So the result actually will not be so accurate. So it's still growing actually. So after 7 years old is fine, and until my oldest client was 95 years old. Actually, he's a British man. We start with cell well-being as well with me in Singapore, and helped me to do the test. So yeah, it's very useful. And so just to show you a little bit about the results when we see this, the first thing when we do this test is show you a list of food restriction and the food that you need to avoid. So for a period of time, for 90 days, on what we call the epigenetics, is about your environment. Epigenetics basically is mean above your DNA, is mean your environment. So all your lifestyle and everything. So what you have been done for the last 90 days and even further in your gene as well, what you are sensitive to. So maybe you have some sensitivity with the food that you have been eating, but you don't know. So like maybe you have been eating too much of this food, but you also don't know because you never know. Like for me, for example, I love eating blueberries, for example, for breakfast. So sometimes the test will tell me on the food restriction to just stop blueberries for a period of 90 days, and it will give me a list of other food for another period of 90 days. And so it's just about, life is just about balance. You just have to balance yourself. And you can see on the left, this circle, actually, when you see the biggest block with the letter of P, the letter of P is mean priority. So when you have priority, for example, in vitamins, amino acid, antioxidant, environmental challenge, and here we will see later on the interference. So the purple color, you can see P. The interference, most of my clients, I've been testing about more than 2,000 clients now in Singapore. I would say that 98% of them, they all have priority in interference, meaning that they have priority in their EMF and ELF. They show that they are actually too exposed to it. So they need to actually change this. Even if you have no choice, I will show you how to fight against this, and also how to have a good lifestyle, have a good nutrition as well, and which food will help you to be more healthy. And minerals you can see as well. So mineral and vitamin are very important, mostly to when you are exposed to the interference. And resistance, which is more like bacteria, virus, and those kind of things. So epigenetics, and this test is really a well-being test. It's not a medical device. I'm not a doctor. So when my client do this test, I will just guide them to just change their lifestyle. I will not tell them that they have any disease or organs issue or those kind of things. So you don't have to, it's completely different than blood test, okay? So just to show you a little bit of also what the test can show you. So you can see on the left, it's different. So on the left and the right, so the left one, the green is highlighted with the letter of P, you can see brain health. And the right client is actually he has more issue with the cardiovascular health, sleep, musculoskeletal, which is like more everything, bone issue, and the whey metabolism, the fatty acid as well. So the omega-3 and 6 and 9 also. And you can see the frequency interference. So on the test results, when I do the test, we can see exactly where we have issue at. So like, for example, for this, you can see like TV screen is a big priority for this client. And he has 50 Hertz main current, so electro smog as well, and electrostatic field. So later I will show you a page where it's a bit more detailed, but this is really the basic. You can see as well mobile phone. Microwaves is not specific to oven. It's actually right oven, but like Max said before, microwaves are quite everywhere, those microwaves. So that's microwaves is actually very important to try to minimize the exposure. And then computer monitor, extremely low frequency, and yeah. So what I mentioned when I coach, and because I'm a triathlete as well, so when I coach swimmer, and when I have my swimmer who do the test, when they swim in a swimming pool, I find that they are quite high in terms of electro smog, because from the swimming pool engine actually bring up more electro smog into our body exposure. So So they have a kind of highest priority there as well. Just a short things to show you a bit about from the USA Environmental Protection. So you can see the table below that give you a good idea about the exposure to everyday electrical item, which reach the USA EPA safety guidelines. So just like when you can see, if you are, I'm a chef, so I always use those blender and those machines in the kitchen, because when I work in the kitchen, and I'm sure when you're at home, so you can see that the exposure up to 4 inch, you can see that it's even at 3 feet. Then you can see many of these you still have a potential exposure, and to limit higher than recommended. So microwaves, oven, air dryer as well, TV, vacuum cleaner, airplane. So yeah, so all of these are quite difficult to avoid. Later on, you can share with me. I'm sure most of you are not switching off Wi-Fi at night, which is super important. And you can see you will see a very big difference when you just switch off your Wi-Fi at night. You will see that actually you will sleep much better, first of all, and you will feel more energized during the day, because Wi-Fi have a big impact on your sleep. Okay, so try at least to just take note. You remember that Wi-Fi is super important, and I will say that even when you sleep, you even switch off all your electric devices that are close to you, close to your head, close to your body. You just switch it off, every single thing. Even the plug, you just plug and you switch off those plugs, because those are significant impact, but in the long term, it can have a big impact on your health. So some simple solution in this weird world. We cannot simply switch off the mobile phone or even Wi-Fi in our home office, but at night we can. But we can, however, make sure to sleep with the mobile phone away from our bedside table. Use the loudspeaker or hand-free option rather than holding the phone next to our ears. Reduce the time that our children have on their personal mobile, tablet, and computer. You can see the effect on the children that Max shared just before. Switch off your Wi-Fi modem at night, like I say, where possible, use harmonizing wave from these cards and or batteries. So later on, maybe Joe will share as well more about this as well. And drink as much energized living water as possible. And eat healthy, of course, and take a walk more, spend more time outside in the countryside. Try to, and just this morning I went to Buketima. I went to the forest. I organized a race, a run. So when you go there, just try to spend time in the nature. And I see sometimes many runners actually when I see them, they are with their phone like that, and they're just looking at their phone and just running. So for me, it doesn't make sense. If you just go out, just switch off everything, every single thing, even forget about your phone, or I know you have to take your phone now everywhere, but just switch off, put on the airplane mode, and just forget about everything and just enjoy the nature and look at around. It's nice to just go back to nature. And of course, you have to eat supplement, which I always suggest, because food is important, yes. But as a chef, even myself, I find that I don't have enough minerals and mostly antioxidants that our body support. So it's super important to eat more of those supplements, mostly in Singapore, because it's quite difficult to find organic food, I would say. So about interference food, there is some food, as you can say. So you can see like the interference support food. I will also suggest spirulina. Spirulina is one of the key food. I will say, yes, it's called superfood. And you can find actually fresh spirulina now in the market, which is actually the blast freeze is fresh and frozen. So you just like defrost it, but the texture is still fresh and creamy and still nice, because the powder, sometimes the powder of spirulina is a bit strong. The smell is not so nice. And spirulina, I would say, is the most efficient in terms of amino acid and protein. So you can really find all your amino acid and protein into the spirulina. So something that you have to take daily, as well as vitamin D3, curcumin, the fatty acids, so all the essential fatty acid, EFA. So all of these omega-3, 6, 9 are very important. Calcium, melatonin as well. Melatonin help a bit to sleep better, and B vitamins and sulfur as well. So sulfur you can find, of course, in a chicken, beef. You can also find in the nuts if you are vegan or on a vegetarian diet. You can find all of that. So increase your daily vitamin and minerals. Food, if you want to. Supplement is something that I strongly recommend. Just I show you something like an example of my daily vitamin C. So this is a typical meal of what I eat. I would say not daily because, okay, I eat often. So you can see on the top, you can see a pineapple fried rice on the top left. And on the top right is a prawn with a salad. And on the below left is a broccoli, also rocket salad and fish. So this is my lunch and dinner. So dinner, the fish and the green salad. So you can see lunch and dinner. And you can see that my daily vitamin C is only about 120, 100 to 150 milligram per day. So do you know how much vitamin C we should have to really optimize ourselves? We should have at least 1,000 milligram of vitamin C per day. And okay, even if I take an orange juice from fresh orange, of course, it will not cover that. It will not cover that. So that's why just a sample. I just take vitamin C as a sample, but I can also take vitamin D. I can take the vitamin B. I can take a lot that we don't have enough nowadays. Maybe 20 or even let's say 40 years ago, if you take one orange compared to before, it will be more, maybe the equivalent of vitamin C will be more powerful, will be better, because the soil before was more clean and compared to now, because now the efficiency of the soil is not there. So you can see as well, here is we will see at the interference calcium day. So from the test, we always suggest to start the test and the program from 1 to 90 days, 3 months, to see how is your performance. So we always start with the calcium, what we call the calcium days, from 1 to 90 days. So we always ask my client to increase their salmon, sardine, dark green leafy vegetables. So this is very important. Almond, asparagus, broccoli, grow yeast, cabbage, kale, mustard greens, fig, soybean, tofu are very good, watercress, chicory, which is salad as well, flaxseed, parsley is very powerful, sesame and poppy seeds. So all of this is something that you need to increase your calcium. On top of that, if you don't have, if you say it's too much, you don't eat this enough every day, this is where the supplement comes from, and this is what you need. So if you take, of course, food is important. If you take water as well, try to drink a good quality drinking water for cell optimization. Avoid tap water, plastic bottle as well, and always take a clean water. If you have tap water, I would suggest you can use a filter, but always try to drink in a glass. Always drink. Avoid everything that is plastic. Always use a glass bottle, which is much better. Essential fatty acid as well. So all of these are also into the salmon, mackerel, sardine, all the small fish, trout. If you are vegan, you can find it in a flaxseed oil, walnut, pumpkin seed, hemp seed, soybean as well is very good, and tempeh. All of that is very good. Okay, here is another things that I share. I still have about 5 minutes. Okay. I have, okay, usually at the end of the test, on my test, we show you a food list. So you can see on the left and the right are 2 different clients. The goal of this test is to make this list smaller, meaning that if this list is smaller, you will need less nutrients to support your well-being and support your body. So after 90 days, by right, the list should become like the left one, which is a bit less. And I even see some of my clients who have only 2 lines or 3 lines, which is perfect. Even 2 lines is okay. This means that they don't need so much nutrient. They already have everything. Everything is balanced. Everything is perfect. So you can see on the right, the list is quite big, and on the left is not too big, is a bit better. And you can see the proline as well, the spirulina again come back. So all of the good food. So just the last slide, I always suggest to everyone as well to reduce stress and radiation, the EMF and ELF, to go for earthing and grounding. And why you should try it, because it's very powerful. When I was training more as an athlete, my coach, I have a coach from Switzerland, who tell me before a race, I was doing a race in Phuket, a triathlon race. And he said, you tried that. And I was doing, so switch off all your TV, don't watch TV, try to switch off your phone as much as you can, at least 1 week before the race, 7 days. And every day go for grounding. So walk barefoot on the grass, and the best is to walk barefoot on the wet sand. So not on the dry sand, not on the dry sand, not on the water, just on the wet sand, because this is where all the energy is there. It comes from Earth. So I did that every day, and even sometimes I didn't go on the beach. I just sit down on the grass, even with a chair. But I have always contact with Earth barefoot and read a book. And after a week, I did this race, and I was feeling fantastic, very energized, and so that was a big improvement. So I suggest to you that you should try it every day at least, and to spend time at least 1 hour. Take it, it's like your mobile phone. When you charge your mobile phone, it's like your body. So when you charge your body, you recharge your body, the longest you're staying outdoor and in contact with Earth, the better you will be fully charged. So it's exactly the same. Your body is exactly the same. So just, yeah, that's it. So if you have any question, don't hesitate. You can ask me anything. In terms of the test, I will stop sharing. In terms of the test, if you are interested, then you just can go to the website that I think Joe will share more about it, because we have a promotion now as well. If you want to do the epigenetic test, and then in 15 minutes you get the result. So it's quite fast. And after we do I will explain more about the test and everything, because it's 37 pages, so it's quite a lot to go through it. Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Nick, and of course Max as well. So very thankful for both of you guys who came on to share your knowledge with us this afternoon. So okay, so just to recap some points that I've gotten so far, and then we are entering to a time of Q&A. Please feel free to give whatever questions you have. So just key points just to point out. So we know that this time around we are working from home, right? And many Singaporeans have been working from home for a period of time. So I think one of the key questions that I want to just throw out to the audience here is that, are you sure your house is designed to be safe to work from home? Okay, so that's one question to think about. We have been really cooped up at home. All sorts of setups have come around, and I've heard my colleagues, and yeah, so yeah, just a question for you to think about. Okay. Secondly is about, the idea of home being a safe haven. So question back to you, is your home really safe? Okay, you sleep, you eat, you play, your kids, yourself. So yeah, I wonder, is it really safe? And also from what Max and Nicolas have shared, one of the key ideas is, because you cannot really see, we can't see EMF, we can't really see, EMR. So, I mean, rather than just believe whatever people say, why not just test it out for yourself, right? Do one time, you will know. Yeah. So both Max and Nicolas have shared about, different ways of testing your environment using the meter devices, testing of your own body in terms of your EMF exposure, which Nicolas have also shared. So yeah, do one time, just find out, and it's really good information for you to know, so that you could cater your solutions to it. So okay, so we have this Q&A time. Please feel free to give them whatever questions that you have. You can type in the chat, or you could If you're comfortable, you could unmute and ask as well. Okay, maybe to kick things off. Oh, okay. Jonidere. So maybe you want to take this, Max. I believe this is for you in the chat box.
Yeah. What has been mentioned here? Mentioned that 5G is everywhere. Even you make your home safe. What about when you go out externally, right? Yeah. So first of all, to start with home is very important because phone, at least you are home, you spend a lot of time, especially when you are resting and sleeping. So we all know since very young that sleeping and resting is the time that your body regenerates. It's very, very important. So of course, having the home nicely shielded and low EMF card is very important. But when you go out, there are many things that we should do as well. Like Nicolas has shared with you in terms of nutrition is very important, in terms of your sleep, in terms of your exercise, in terms of things that you take. All these are also very important consideration. And in terms of the supplementation, in terms of the different things. And also as far as shielding is concerned, this is where I'm working at. So there are things that this is a very typical question that people will ask. Hey, Max, we do all the shooting. When I go out, I'll get those exposures. True. Yeah, but people are not aware that there are things that you are able to wear outside. For example, there are wearable apparels, kind of things that with special kind of fabrics that I'm also dealing with that you can shield yourself. Yeah. Of course, for those people that are very sensitive, that can even, you see that people are even sharing using hats and stuff like that. And one of the, I do not want to go too much into the supplementation part of it, which I think Nick has covered. But in the line that we are bringing one of the supplementation, which is very focused on EMF part of it, which works on the microbiome, is following along the same line, because we also know that it's when you go out, it's very hard. Yeah, and you ask people to do a lot of shooting, but sometimes it's not really practical. So that's why from the nutritional side of it, from the vitamins, minerals, and also with the microbiome kind of thing that come together, it can help. So right now we are more like into inner and outer kind of shield that can actually help us. So that is my answer to this. Nick, you have anything to add?
Yeah, thanks. I think where it's the same here, like you say, and mostly to spend time outdoor is important, and like I say, earthing even sometimes it feel weird, but to just barefoot sometime on the grass, but it's because everybody wear the shoe, so it's just like try to spending more time. I used to live in a condominium, another one before, and I was living close to a tower there, Singtel tower, and then I was still trying to go outside and at least spending 1 hour or 2 hours taking my chair down, and everybody was looking at me because I was barefoot and reading the book, and it was maybe feeling a bit weird for them, but not for me, because I was feeling well, it was feeling better. So yeah, just try, and like you say, clothing as well and supplement is important. Yeah.
Okay, there's another question, Nick, for you. The idea of soy grown veggies versus hydroponics.
Yeah. So okay, on the nutrition value, I would say that of course soil are the best because it's directly come from soil. I share one of recent talk a few months ago about earthworm, and then you can see that those earthworm, actually we need them because they produce mineral into the soil, and that's because of them that actually we get all the nutrients into our vegetable. So that's very different when we grow also all vegetable, which is hydroponics. So compared to the soil. And now the problem and the issue is because of all the pesticide and everything, we are losing those earthworm because they're even dying. They have issue. They just mentioned that they're starting to eat those pesticides, and then they die. So we lack of minerals in our vegetable a lot. Yeah.
Thanks, Nick. Okay, Nick, another question about the hair test by Rebecca. Is it approved by any health boards?
Yeah, it's approved by the FDA. It's approved by the FDA as a well-being test, actually. So as a wellness test, sorry, not medical test, but it's a wellness test. Yeah.
In fact, from what I know, that this is not just in Singapore, right? It's actually that all parts of the world.
Yeah, it's everywhere. Yeah, so there is it's many, almost all of the countries there. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, keep the questions coming. If not, I think Jennifer has one question for you guys.
Maybe just now, as we were talking about, I think the question about 5G towers, right? That we are being surrounded. Yeah, maybe Max, you want to touch a little bit more on 5G, because I mean, personally, for us at home, we actually don't use Wi-Fi at all. So, you know, how is the frequency like, you know, in terms of 5G and our home Wi-Fi? Which one is more harmful? That's number one. Then number two, I think recently there's a lot of hype about 5G being very dangerous. So yeah, I just want to hear from Max. Yeah, yeah.
First of all, yeah, thanks to Jennifer for the question. For 5G, I think there's a great confusion. First of all, that people always thought that, you know, 5G, our router has already 5G, you know, the traditional one, 2.4 and 5G. They see that the 5 gigahertz, they equate it with the 5G. Those are not, those are still 5 gigahertz. They are not 5th generation mobile telephony. Yeah. So 5G that we are talking about is a 5th generation telephony. So so be rest assured your existing home wireless router run on 2.4 and 5 gigahertz. Yeah, that is a standard, but that's not 5G. So what is 5G right now, as far as Singapore is concerned? You know, firstly, in terms of 5G, people have to, of course, the information out there, people say, oh, 5G is the latest, very fast, extremely fast speed downloading. This is true to some extent, but you know, but in reality, most of the 5G antenna that's been deployed right now across the whole island is still not operating at the super fast band. In fact, in Singapore, there are 3 frequency bands. Like there's a low band, which is about 3.5 gigahertz. There's a mid band and mid or high band. They are running at 26 and then 28. So the 26, 8 and 28 gigahertz is the one that's really real fast. That will be the one that you're going to see in Sentosa, which lately we saw that in the TV, you know, TV media, they say that Sentosa is going to be a 5G, you know, kind of you know, area. They have a lot of autonomous driverless kind of thing. So those are where the high frequency will be installed to have the kind of operation. But in most of the cases that across the whole Singapore, the 5G right now is only 3.5 gigahertz. Mind you, the 3.5 gigahertz is only in between your existing wireless router that you have right now, 2.5 and 5 gig, it's 3.5. So don't be too paranoid when you see that, you know, there's 5G is going to be, it's about the same. But at the same time, we have to be aware of it is that now in Singapore, essentially we have 3, 4, 5G all at the same time. So the average ambient or wireless radiation or this microwave has actually increased substantially. Yeah. So it is not as per the high frequency of that particular antenna that I see that is really very harmful. It's not to that category. But I mentioned the higher band will be the one that we are very concerned. But at the same time, when we are faced with the higher frequency band, most of the time it will not be put very close to your house or whatever, because they are very specific for certain application where there's no obstruction. So because when you go to a very high frequency spectrum, it's very easily being blocked or being reduced by simple things like trees, or even it will be very simply blocked. So in order for the existing thing that you see around the island, that is why they are not choosing the 26 or 28, because if they are using that, their transmission range will be very, very small, and they need to do a lot of antenna just very close to your building in order to make that happen. So they need to rely on the 3.5 gig, yeah, which actually can transmit slightly further. But actually behind the technology right now, they are still piggyback on the fourth generation in order to get it work. It's actually when your 4G, 5G right now is actually having 2 technology at the same time to make it work. So bear in mind, so that is to explain that, you know, don't be too over 5G that you heard the high frequency is going to be very damaging. It is not here yet. One day it might come, but because of the cost to install so many of this high-speed 5G network in your close proximity is very costly for many telecom players. So it is not going to happen so soon. Yeah. But even then, even though it happens, just be mindful that simple things like maybe some leaf or trees will probably be able to block it. So don't be too. But of course, at the same time, we're talking about the transmitter side of things. Be mindful that we have 5G phone in future. In fact, right now, people can even get, in overseas, there are 5G routers. So if you tend to like those gadgets, 5G gadgets, the real 5G one, you bring it at home. Of course, you are introducing 5G into your home. Yeah. So that's another thing. For me, I'm not going to bring those kind of thing into my home. Yeah, my home is of course well shielded. I'm using LAN cable. Even in this session that we have, I'm using the Ethernet or LAN cable where I don't have So there are things that you can actually do a lot of things at home. Yeah. Thanks, Jen.
Thanks.
Thanks. Yeah.
Anyone else have any other questions from the audience? If not, maybe can I invite maybe Nick or maybe Nick and Max to just give your final thoughts about the area that you have just shared, like key points, the main point that you want our audience to take away.
Yeah, Nick, you can go ahead.
Yes. Okay. For me, like I say, my key point, I did a test for a lot of clients in Singapore, and I'm still doing it. And I find that I have even some recently client and few clients who just got just like a breast cancer or degenerative disease and just come like they didn't expect it. So that's the thing is like, this is so important to take care of our overall lifestyle and everything, and that's in terms of like even pollution, those kind of things. So air pollution, EMF, ELF. So all of this is so important that we actually don't realize it now because we think we are healthy. But when it's happened to you or to someone that you are in close relationship with, and then you just realize that, oh, maybe I should actually take care of that or do it. So that's just a point that I want to highlight to everyone, just to take this seriously and for a long term. Yeah, that's super important to survive.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, I think a lot of people tend to be a little bit, some of my clients say, I don't want to know. When I know my home, because for them they already take the assumption it's going to be high. If you come to my home, it's going to be high because I got so many of these gadgets, things like that. Like I always want to tell, share it with the audience here. Things is high internally, and we have a lot of things that we can do very simply to mitigate those things internally in your house. Very simple things that we can do very simply. The problematic one is always the external. It's from your neighbor with a very strong Wi-Fi. If you're staying very close to a substation, or you have those are the things that we cannot stop. We cannot ask them to, hey, please don't do it. It's there. So those are the things that are totally unaware. Like I would like to mention, not all houses I mentioned. Some people will be a little bit skeptical, say, okay, Max, when you come to, you definitely tell it's high, it's everywhere. It's not true. So the number of, it depends on where you stay. Yeah, actually, of course, internal pollution I mentioned. If you ask the people to off some of these things, giving them some measures or some simple tips to follow, you are able to keep your internal thing low. The external one, that's where we come in. And external one, it doesn't mean that everyone is going to have high external exposure. No. Many houses that I've been to is actually very good because there are no cell phone towers. It's not close, it's far. Yeah. And many people tend to say, yeah, when I use my phone, I can see there's a high signal, a lot of Wi-Fi signal is going to be very bad. It is not true because people are not aware that, don't use your phone as a gauge to see how strong your neighbor, because a phone that you have today, it's a super smartphone. Yeah, the technology nowadays is even higher in terms of in the satellite speaking. So they are very, very sensitive to pick up very, very small signal. If you like I used to tell people, if you have a 10 signal and you use your phone to see that they have 10 Wi-Fi signal, you add them all together, they might not even be 1 or 2 microwatts per meter square. Yeah. But whereas we are, so don't use of course, if you have a phone, you have one with 1 Wi-Fi signal compared with 10. Of course, 10 will be worse off. But at the same time, don't be paranoid because those 10 signals might not be just when you add it up together, it's not going to be in that order of huge. So don't use your phone as a measure to go, it's going to be very high. That is not an accurate assessment. So my takeaway is that, you know, besides doing all those things that you take care of your health, I want to come back again, it's holistic, yeah. You really need to take care of your food. Just now we touched a part on the Irving. I like what Nick is saying, because he's advocating natural Irving. Is what I also like I also be advocating, because there are a lot of things that people in the market, they have a sitting mat for you to herb, you know, things like that. It is good to some extent, but people have to know that, you know, the earth that you go through the socket are not proper, not clean earth. Yeah. So some people might have negative impact. Yeah, there are people that have good you know, results, but there are people that are also feeling more problematic because of the bad earth that is coming from our means. Yeah. So that's what my annual is that, you know it, then you know what are things that you can do, and there are solutions out there available to help you. Yeah. So yeah, so this is my ending thoughts.
Okay, thanks, Max. Okay, so let me just wrap up today. Okay, so yeah, so just want to highlight that whatever that has been shared and covered. Yeah, so please continue to stay in touch, and if you want to, yeah, this is so a little bit about where you can find a little bit more info about some of the things that Max and Nicolas have already shared and mentioned, like the test, the assessment, home assessment, and all this. So you can find these details on our website. Okay, so jonidere.com. You can also find us on Facebook. So you can follow us, like us on our Facebook page. Okay, and there's a WhatsApp there. So feel free to, you know, contact us for further details. We will also be sending out through an email some of these you know, things that was mentioned, so that you could really act on it. Okay, so to share with your okay, so these are some things that, you know, was mentioned. Okay, so the home assessment, the hair test, and there's this other book here, ebook, that you can really read up more if you are really keen to find out more about EMF. That is also listed on our website. So just to share, okay, what will be next for us at Jonidere. So this is actually the next event that will happen in the month of December. So the next sharing session is really focusing on health, but in the area of relationships. Yeah, so this is something that's very close to my heart and myself, because I'm working with young people actually. So in terms of family relationships, yeah, the strain, the tension, I'm quite sure this period of time, because of all the home-based learning, work from home, there are things that's really going on in the house. So myself and another of our associate, Sylvia, who is also she's a counseling psychologist. So yeah, so both of us will be helming the session. So we really invite you to join us if it's applicable, of course, and useful for you. And feel free to share this with your friends as well, your colleagues or people that you know that will benefit. Okay, so book this date, this time on the 4th of December. Okay, so once again, let me stop share. Okay. Registration link. Yeah. So thank you for joining us this afternoon, and we will follow up with an email to you guys. So thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.